Thank you.
Okay. I would, also like to point out that in blogs you control your own content, and nobody can take you off the air. And that in itself is both reassuring and important to your leadership position. It's very clear to you, I'm assuming, that you know what you want to communicate. You probably know whether your company leads in technology, in environmental, in pricing, in customer service, whatever your expertise is. But is the market, are your customers really interested in all those? Perhaps the market is interested in a subset or in a slightly different dimension. How would you know unless you actually take the time to listen? So the act of blogging, the act of posting cannot be done in a vacuum. It needs to be in concert with an active listening platform and strategy. And there are some simple tools to do that, tools that are free and available to all of us. One such tool is Google Blog. Real-time searches tell you relevant conversation. And in preparation for this webinar, Hanan and I have actually used some of those tools to check on issues related to some ISBM members. And we actually found people talking about their desire to purchase or certain technologies and certain products that some of the members here are actually putting in the marketplace. So it's also a very, very good tool for prospecting. So you listen to the topics, you listen to what your customers are expressing, and you react to that. You position your topics not only on what you think internally, but what your audience wants to hear about. And Hanan wants to jump in.
Yeah, I see that there is another question there about LinkedIn. Mary, do you want to repeat that?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'd be happy to. And that was the experience that this individual's had with LinkedIn discussion groups is that they're often dominated by dueling consultants. So any suggestions on how to get around this?
It's interesting that this is the question because Hanan is currently leading two conversations on LinkedIn, and one of them is being intercepted by a consultant who has a point to make, and I'm trying to understate it.
It's a fight between consultants.
Go ahead, Hanan.
Well, but I tend to agree. It's in social media, especially in social media, we see that a lot of the discussion, or a large part of the discussion, is controlled by people who took that as their profession to be experts in the medium itself, and that definitely taints the atmosphere and takes away from the professionality in regards to specific industries. But I think that you probably see less of that when the discussions become very focused and very concentrated around the actual value of the company or the actual professional issues that the industry is dealing or dwelling around. One of the things that we would suggest is when you start a group or when you start a discussion within a group, to invite people that you know for sure that would have value add to this conversation, and B, that they would be willing to jump in and contribute. They will set the tone.
Right.
And when you have a lot of buzz or noise coming from the less relevant voices, just either ignore them if they're small, or move on to a new venue.
Right, and that is a great suggestion. I tend to move on, but I'll tell you, I personally tend to look at the profile of the person leading the conversation and in assessing whether I want to participate in the conversation. The beauty of LinkedIn is that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of different groups, and on any given day there are thousands of different conversations. So if I don't find one that I feel adds value to me, then I simply move on to the next conversation. The choices are immense, and that is the advice that I would give.
Okay, very good. Well, I know we have, and I want to keep encouraging the questions to come in. So if I don't ask the question right now for the audience, just let you know I will try to get it at the end during the Q&A.
Fantastic.
Ron, we'll let you keep on going because I know you have quite a bit here.
Well, okay. So I'll come back to blogs, but I will gladly take questions about LinkedIn at either at the end if time allows. I'd like to encourage you to look at blogs as something other than just a straight sales pitch. Try to demonstrate, if you can, and all of you can, value added. What you are giving your customers, your industry, your environment, your society beyond just a sales pitch. And all of us can find that within ourselves. Another great point is that blogs are dynamic. They are a wonderful venue to incorporate YouTube, music, graphs, research articles. They are a wonderful venue to invite your customers to provide feedback, their impressions, suggestions, ask questions of one another, so long as you are the center of the conversation. And with respect to blogs, I would simply add that you should feel free to join the discussion in other blogs relevant to your industry and not necessarily solely participate in the discussions within your company blog.
One of the things that we like very much in Indian Corporations blog, which we showed in the other slide that Mary mentioned, another shining star in the B2B social media space. In their niche industry, they decided to allow many of the employees of the company's employees to participate in the company's blog. So they have people from different areas, different fields, different departments, talking and creating a small audience to themselves, becoming a shining star on the company's webpage, as well as leading the way for an entire industry that doesn't have a lot of chatter at the current time. But when the time will get, or when the industry will pick up the chatter, maybe generations will change. Indian will be there as one of the ruling voices, and that's a great example of how to find the alternative route to developing content and developing interest around the company, rather than just the one voice, the one corporate voice that the PR firm or the PR department dictates.
And another little secrets about blogs is that they are extremely productive in SEOs. They tend to elevate your company into higher ranking in the various search engine postings. And although they were not in that pie chart that we showed before for reasons that we can expand on in a bit later, they are a huge source for visits to your own website, for an opportunity for people to get familiar with your company, with the products that you make, and with your competitive advantage.
Yeah, maybe just a note to participants, if you go to isbm.org, we actually did a webinar with Rick Short from India several years back, and he talks about how he started the whole process and the challenges that he came across in getting the whole blog going in his company. So if you're interested in hearing more of that story, listen in on that. Ron, quick question. This is really appropriate to the last slide that you had, so let me go ahead and ask it now. If you aren't getting a sizable response to a video blog on Facebook, now this person is mentioning Facebook, let's just say it's anywhere or on your website, is it safe to assume that the topics aren't interesting? And if so, what do you suggest?
Well, that is exactly one of the issues Hanan is going to discuss in a matter of a slide or two. So if we could wait on this for a minute or two.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay.
I would say this at this point, I think which is relevant, is that just having a blog out there or just having even the perfect social media representation is not enough. I think that we passed the point of if we build it, they will come. The tools or methodologies such as email blasts or newsletters and proactive approach in getting in touch with your customers and with your interested parties, such as partners and industry entities, it's extremely important. You need to always keep pushing the content out, distributing it, and inviting people to join the conversation. When all of these efforts are in place, you will have a better picture of is it a matter of just not doing enough of the promotion and proactive steps, taking the proactive steps in inviting people to your venue, or is it just other reasons such as which we'll discuss later on how to gauge interest.
But it could also be the venue. I mean, it could also be that the reason why many professionals are not necessarily getting their information from Facebook is that the placement of the video was precisely on that venue. But it also, and I don't know whether the person asking comes from a very large